Hey, hey,
Hi,
hey.
welcome to Voices of Reality. I'm Farron, this is,
Elisa.
and tonight we will be recapping, chatting, talking about Atlanta Housewives season 14, episode 16. And we are live.
Yes, for the second time. We still new to this live thing for this reality stuff. So we appreciate those who's coming in. We don't have any views just yet in the chat, but they coming, okay? Because we still new to this, but we still, the show's gonna go on, but don't be shy. Come on into the chat. Come on in. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're in the chat, okay? And the
Yep.
alert button so you can know when we go live.
And like, because I know
Yes,
you like our video.
yes, yes.
So let's get right into this episode, which to me was not that entertaining. So it started out with Candy and Ace, her son. He's auditioning for movies, and when I see children on scene, I think of you, and you're like, womp womp womp, boring. I mean, there wasn't much to tell. He's just auditioning.
You know I don't be liking when them kids are on the screen. Like I'm an adult. I want to get adult interaction.
Yeah, that's part of her storyline, being a mother and raising her son and raising her daughter. But I mean, he's a cute little kid, but it wasn't that interesting. I want to
Yes.
see more,
And did
something
you
else.
see Yvette is in the chat? She said she loves
Hi,
your hair.
hey, that's my homegirl from work. Hey, Yvette. Hey.
Hey, homegirl.
Hi, Yvette. Thanks for watching. So Yvette says she watches the show. So comment, let us know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Lisa? Give us your thoughts of episode 16 of Atlanta Housewives season 14. So we're getting right into it. Marlo and her sister. So this is a second time seeing Marlo and her sister. And it was Marlo asking her sister how the nephews are behaving and if they're taking their medicine or they're washing dishes. So it just showed her talking to her sister, just checking up on her nephews.
Um, yeah, that was nice. I mean, she did say that she misses them. So I mean, I don't know what to make of this whole situation. I get it, she needs a break. So I mean, I'm glad that she's still in touch and making sure they're okay.
Yeah. And Yvette commented, she said, Farrah, I love the hair. Thank you, girl. Expired by Yvette. She got beautiful big hair. So I'll make this is you. This for you tonight, Yvette. So Drew and Ralph. It's about their relationship. Same old, same old. But this time it was more so geared to Drew. She had surgery on her tear. She had tear something. She tore something.
Yeah, Achilles.
Yeah, and then Shereé and Sonia came to visit. And I was pretty surprised. Because both of them don't really get along with Drew. So the fact that they came to visit her was like, wow, that's nice because I wouldn't have visited her. I'm not talking to you. I really don't care about your surgery.
Probably. Yeah, I don't think I would have either. I don't know. Cause I just feel like when you're a little family, I don't know. But it would depend. Like the way, no, but it, Sonya is the one who is the aggressor in this situation. So I kind of would take it as like she should extend an olive branch. Now, if I were Drew and it was Sonya that like, tore something, absolutely not. Cause I just feel like Sonya is the one that is the aggressor in this situation. So maybe that was her olive branch to her.
Well, we're not gonna jump past episodes, but in the reunion, Sonya she explains why she was upset with Drew.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we're still trying to figure out what is wrong with this
It
chick.
still
Why
didn't make no sense why she was upset, but okay.
when I saw the first episode of the reunion, it made a little bit more of sense of
Really?
why, to me, to some extent, as to Drew being fake and trying to stir up the pot when the cameras are on. When the cameras are off, she's acting differently. So I kind of see why Sonya is feeling the way she was towards
I
Drew.
don't know about that. I think she just gathered up her story because she knew everybody was coming for her. Like you mad at nothing. So I feel like now she's trying to make something of substance, but I still don't believe her.
Okay. So then Sonya goes into explaining to Drew and Shereé how Kenya really tore her another butthole. Like Kenya went in first. She basically said that she was shocked, and then they went on to saying that how Kenya said that she felt that Ross was aggressive.
Yeah.
And Sonya said, well, her husband was standing up for her. And this is when Sonya decides to call Kenya.
Yeah. You know, women don't play about them husbands. You could talk about the kids, you could curse the kids out and do all kind of stuff. But when it comes to that man, that's how I feel, okay? When it comes to that man, women will come like a bat out of hell. But anyway.
Don't talk about my kids either. Don't talk about my kids.
That's you, but there's some people that the man comes, you know, they say the man's supposed to come before the kids. That's what people, the man comes before the kids. But anyway, as we were saying, yeah, she calls Kenya.
Well, to comment on that, my kids come before any man, their father, anybody else. So that just pointing that out. But as far as the situation with Kenya and Sonya, when Sonya calls Kenya was dead sleeping. Like, she was like, yeah, whatever. She didn't really give any importance to it. And she didn't acknowledge she said it. She was kind of playing it off like she didn't say anything, which she did.
Yeah, I was surprised that Kenya kind of was like seeming like to backpedal a little bit, but maybe she was sleeping. But I would have woke right up if somebody called me with that kind of tone. I've been known to jump out of a bed if somebody have a little nasty tone with me, and that wakes me right up. So I was surprised with Kenya being a fellow Aquarius that she let that slide. But she did. She kind of like, you know, blew her off talking about she's sleeping or whatever it was.
And Sonya called her very confrontational, very aggressive compared to how she was in Jamaica. But I could see why. And I think when Kenya really thought about it, she kind of was like, maybe my words were not the best to use in that scenario. Because to any Black man, especially doing IFID, they're on this platform and they're trying to, you know, get deals, endorsements and everything else. Saying he's aggressive, already a Black man, and kind of using that word to describe him, which we don't know how he is yet. We're still trying to figure out who Sonya and Russ are. I don't think she should have used the word aggressive. I don't think she should have said anything. He told you don't F with my wife. He didn't call you the B word. He didn't attack you. He didn't say nothing to you. I don't think Kenya had any reason to even mention what he did was wrong, because it wasn't.
I don't know. See, I'm big on everyone has their own perspective of things. So I can't, like, no one can tell me how to feel because you felt that way. You can't tell me how to feel. Like, I get the whole, like, aggression being attached to, like, you know, minorities, Black people especially. But if I felt like a man got up in my face, which he didn't, but I'm just saying she could have felt like the way he stood up. Like, I think she did backpedal a little bit later on because she knows, like, she wish she had a man like that. She wished that her husband was like that, and he wasn't. He did not stand up for her when they were at the table before, when they showed him, you know, the past seasons. So I just think that, you know, that word was a little bit, I don't think it was called for in that scenario, but I can't tell Kenya how to feel.
Well, I could tell how to feel because the man was far away from her. That's one. He said what he said and he walked away.
You can still be aggressive if you're far away. You could be on the other side of the room and you'd be like, don't F with my wife, F you, or something like that.
He said, don't F with my wife. That was it. He didn't say, don't F with my wife, you B. He didn't say nothing towards Kenton. He was setting the tone as to everybody on the table. Like, none of you B's mess with my wife. It was, again, mostly geared to Kenya. But again, it wasn't only Kenya going at Sonya at the time. So was Shereé. So when he said, yeah, I ain't gonna F with my wife, he meant none of you B's. Don't come.
That's true, but it was directed at Kenya because Kenya was going hard and she was being nasty about it, unreasonable, especially when they all know, like, she was at work, she was doing her job, and Kenya was the most outspoken one. Shereé didn't really like say much except for the little whispering and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, the way he stood up, you a man, you can't tell me who intimidates me. That could have been intimidating to her. But I do think she did realize that it was a little bit of exaggeration, and you don't apply that, you know, term to a Black man. So I do think at the reunion, she kind of like made it right. And we'll get to that when we get to that reunion.
Well, I didn't get to see that part, but I think it's probably a trigger. Maybe Mark used to talk to her crazy. So who knows?
Absolutely, he did.
But Yvette said they need something to keep us entertained. Yeah, they do need something to keep us entertained, but I think he doesn't look like the type of man that's doing things for TV. He was more like, nah, they're not gonna pay my wife. I think a lot of the men don't. The women, yes. So I can see what Yvette is saying. Yeah, they do things to entertain us, but at that particular moment, I don't think he did it to entertain us. It was more so, don't ever my wife, especially when the cameras are on. Don't play with my wife. I got to set the tone now. Don't play with her. So
Yeah.
I applaud him for that.
Absolutely, and I love that part. You know, that was like one of my favorite parts.
Me too. This season, probably the best. So he's my type, my number one favorite house husband.
Absolutely. I love a quiet man, but will come out like ripping and roaring when it comes to me, his woman. I love a man like that that's quiet. You don't need to cause a scene, but cause a scene when it's needed. So I love that.
So Yvette said Tanya and Sonya's husband don't play with their wives. I agree, but I like the way Ross does it a little bit than Todd.
Yeah.
That's what
Todd,
I like.
I don't know. I thought that he was a little bit, I didn't like the way he asserted himself at the table in Jamaica when Marlo was coming at him saying like he was basically like a sugar baby to his sugar mama Candy. So I just felt like he was just like, we know about you, Marlo. Like I just didn't feel like, it was, I don't feel like Todd like laid it down and shut it down like Ross did. Hi, Kyra. I'm glad that you joined us in the chat. We building up. Like, this is our second time, so hey.
Hey. So with Todd, I don't think he brings it, especially somebody from the BX Bronx. I'm expecting to see that urbanness out of him. No, I think with Todd is because they don't respect Todd on the show. I don't think the women respect him in that manner. He doesn't exude the respect. I guess a lot of people think, oh, that's Candy's husband. It's not Todd. It's not the front person. Candy's the breadwinner. Everybody knew Todd as one of the producers, or he was part of production back then. Whoever was on the show prior. So I think with Todd, they say crazy stuff like Marlo, but Ross, like somebody has a presence. I think his presence alone, like, nah, we can't.
Absolutely, and that's what I love about him.
And even though we don't like Ralph kind of sets that tone too. Like, I don't see them going at Ralph. I don't really. The women could probably do it behind his back and talk negatively about him to Drew, but I don't see they're gonna go at him. But Todd, I see them talking crazy to Todd. I see him talking crazy to Todd and not really give a damn.
Yeah, and Marlo did. Exactly. And Marlo did. What woman would tell your man to his face that you a sugar baby and you using your wife? Like that alone, that was so disrespectful. Like I can see if she said that to Candy alone, and when Todd wasn't there, but Todd was literally at the table and she said that. That's crazy to me.
Exactly. Marlo has no respect for Todd. And again, she knew Todd off camera, on camera. Marlo always made little jokes about Todd. She doesn't really respect him. And again, remember, Marlo's all about money. So if Todd was rich and filthy and everything else, she probably would have a little bit more respect for Todd. But I think in her head, she thinks Candy's the breadwinner. You're riding Candy's coattail, which she made it known plenty of times. I think that's where she lacks the respect for Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it too, and a lot of people don't respect the short man, so that might be a part of it.
That's true, because I mean I can't. He would have to have a big presence for me to like. I don't know if he's a little short. Yeah, his presence got to be crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Marlo's about 5'10". I don't know how short Todd is, but I think maybe that plays a part. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, Kyra said if Sonya can't handle an argument without her husband staying up and all that, she doesn't need to be on the show. I agree, girl.
And that's what we said yesterday on the past episode, episode 15. We were saying the same thing. Sonya, it's time for her her contract got renewed allegedly. So, but I really don't think she's built to be a housewife, like we said yesterday.
So the next thing was Shereé and Marlo. So this is where Shereé is talking about She by Shereé, and Candy is talking Kenya, and the ladies are talking about the fashion show. So this is when they're talking about the fashion. Wait a minute, is it Kenya talking about the fashion show, or is it Marlo?
No, Marlo wasn't there. It
So it
was,
was Kenya and Shereé.
yeah, and the coordinator.
Oh, this is what. Okay, so this is the scene with the coordinator.
Yeah.
So, Kenya said if Marlo spent $1 million, it's a collection. It's to the collection agency, which I agree. So
He's right.
this is where this is. So this is the scene with Shereé and Kenya, and there's a coordinator, and they're talking about her She by Shereé fashion show. I think everything that Kenya said, she had a valid point. I think she was making valid points, and she really wanted this to be a successful fashion show. But she was totally rude to that lady.
She was rude. I wouldn't have been. Yeah, I wouldn't have been. That's not how you, try to get things like moving on the right track. So I definitely think Kenya was. I'm not rude like that, but like I said, because we got that Aquarius thing going on, I would do it in a more tactful, graceful way.
So my thing that I didn't like is Shereé didn't stop Kenya. I think Kenya should have handled it, let the lady talk, gave some suggestions, and then maybe pull Shereé to the side. Like, Shereé, look, I know you had to say, but this is what I think. But to basically be so rude of the lady sitting there was totally a turnover. Shereé did not say anything.
Yeah, that part was like, come on now. I would never let they let Kenya run amok sometimes. Like I would have checked that real quick.
True. So Kyra said,
yes, girl,
she's an Aquarius.
Oh, no,
not another Aquarius.
Yes, we in the building.
Oh,
okay.
Oh Lord Jesus. So Kyra, who's an Aquarius, she said also, don't let Ross fool you. Him and his friend, Sonya's brother-in-law, were cutting up on her show on WeTV. So I didn't know Sonya was on TV before. I didn't know
that either. And it's like it must have flopped because I haven't heard about it. And I love reality and I've watched WeTV. So maybe I would have passed by it because I didn't know her at the time.
Kyra, let us know in the chat. What show was this? I didn't even know she was on TV before.
I heard about it. I did hear about it, but it must have been real quick.
Oh, I never heard about it.
Yeah, she had a Family Kind of Matters thing.
She did her own show, or she was part of a show?
I heard that it was her and her family.
She said, I think it had about 3 seasons.
Oh, it did? Okay. More than what I expected.
Me neither. That's a lot of seasons. Hey, Drew Process. How you doing? So the next scene, we're talking about Ralph and Drew. Why are they showing them again?
So because Ralph, now I think they letting the mother know that the adoption is dead in the water.
So this is Ralph doing his photo shoot about his book, standing there looking he's a very good looking man, very handsome.
He really is. If he wasn't such a jerk, I would be like, ooh.
So he doesn't look to me as handsome because I know he's not a good husband to her, but Drew's an idiot. So hey, so Drew mom and Ralph talk about not adopting her son. They back on that same topic. The man say he ain't gonna adopt the son. He said the son, he basically said he's not, and Drew said she wants him to adopt him for commitment. So part of it feels like he doesn't want to commit himself to that son. So I think that's where Drew wants him to adopt him because she feels that then you are fully committed to him, which is true because now you're going to pay child support. Something happened to Drew, you're fully accountable and responsible for that child. So this is, I think, why she's so adamant about him adopting Josiah.
You think it's because for the like support? Like you don't think it's for like
not support, but she wants commitment. No, not just that could happen too, but she wants commitment. She feels like, oh, if we split up, we're not together, or something happens to me. He's not responsible for that kid. The father could come anytime and take that kid away.
Yeah,
there's no commitment as far as his responsibility for that son. If they get divorced, she could ask for child support for the two, not that kid. If something happens to Drew, the father can just come and say, look, this is my son. I want my kid. So Kyra said, the show that Sonya had is while she was running, and Ralph and Drew are actors. I don't know about Ralph, but I definitely agree Drew's an actor. Well, she was an actress. So, and she still acts.
And if they both actors, like, are you saying that they putting on like a show? Because I'm damn sure not going to be the doormat to anyone that, if I'm acting. I'm not gonna play the doormat. And Drew is definitely being like some whimpering doormat. So I don't know. Hi, Joanne Brennan. Thank you for joining the chat.
Hi, Joanne. And Kyra said, why would you want a man to adopt your child that Drew said he treats him differently? Drew, I don't know. Drew said that Ralph treats him differently. Josiah?
Yeah, she did say that a while ago.
Now, differently as far as how? See, now I'm a mother.
The difference between yeah, because you know they got the kid that's his, and then the kid. I think that's kind of natural. I don't have that experience. I mean, I don't know how that is, but she was saying that he treats his own son with her differently than the son that's not his.
Meaning what? Favoritism? Did she ever go into detail?
No, I don't think she went into details, but I think that's a gift, but I think that, I mean, differently, does it really matter? Like if it's differently, I think she means like, I don't think she means differently like in a bad way. Like meaning like I don't think she means like he's like abusive or something. Like I think it means like he's actually showing favoritism to the child they have together as opposed to the one that they don't.
True. So I think again, the father's a deadbeat. And again, Ralph keeps saying, oh, because the father said, the father this, and the father the other. If the father's not contesting the adoption, then by all means. But from what Ralph said, which again, we touched based on this on our other videos, which I hope you ladies watched, is that if you're able to talk to the father about not adopting the kid,
hello,
why can't you talk to that same father and say, step up as a dad? Because if you're not, I am going to adopt this child. So Ralph is talking shit. You don't want to adopt the child. At the end of the day, the man don't want to. If you really want to adopt a kid, you would.
And then, like, we don't even know. And how does this kid feel? Like, I'm just wondering, like, the kid has to be hurt. Because imagine, like, you being a kid, you don't have a father as it is. And, you know, you got this man in the house that's showing favoritism to the other kid. And then you kind of, like, change your mind about adopting me. I would probably need therapy after that.
Well, we don't know if the kid knows. Well, I mean, unless you watch your show, I don't know if the kid knew.
You want to kid? Okay, but if he planned on adopting your child, then he said, "No, I'm not adopting your child." You have to tell your child.
But you know, I don't know if the kid know. Like, if I'm talking about the adoption and stuff like this, and it's not finalized, a lot of times people don't do it. Like, you see these things on TV, nobody says anything until the end, and they surprise the kid. It could have been a discussion with them, waiting for it to be finalized and then telling him. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm only like going by what I think makes sense. If he obviously agreed to adopt the child. So if he agreed to adopt the child.
So, Drew process says Drew is trying to portray this perfect family. They shouldn't try to pressure the guy into adopting her son. I agree. I would not pressure a man to adopt my kid. Either you want to adopt him or not. If you don't, oh well.
But who says that there's pressure? Who says that that doesn't mean that there's pressure. That means that he agreed to it. Maybe the son did say, you know, I want a daddy, whatever it was. He agreed. That's not a pressure. If you agreed to it, how we know if there was a pressure applied? All we know is that he agreed to adopt the kid.
No, the pressure is Drew's constantly bringing it up to him. Like, oh, you don't want to.
Because he's not adopting the kid. But she's only bringing it up.
That's pressure.
No, now, because I would be pissed. If you agreed to adopt my child now knows he's happy. He's like, his whole vibe changed. He's thinking like he's going to have a dad now. He's going to be a part of the family. That's a good, like, I'm sure he had like some like good feelings about that. So now, what about when the husband, okay, when he changes his mind? Now I got to break the news to my child. So I think that's when the pressure was applied. Because it's like, wait a minute, I done got my baby's hopes up.
But that's the thing. Does the kid know?
He has to know. Okay, you frozen, girl. I don't know what happened to her, but anyway, the show must go on. Okay, you was freezing a little bit there. Did you feel it?
I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi. Let us know. Are we freezing up in the chat? But again, I don't know if the kid knows. That's my thing. Does the kid know he was gonna get adopted or not? And again, I agree with due process. That's pressure. You bring it up about adopting this kid. If
you bringing it. No,
kid,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I feel if he wanted to adopt the kid, he would adopt the kid.
But that's what I'm saying. He planned to adopt the kid. We only seeing the aftermath because he's saying he's not going to adopt the kid. We don't know if she applied pressure before and was like, adopt, and then he gave in. Or did he say, you know what? I love Josiah. I want to adopt him. I want him to be a part of this family and feel a part of this family. And it might not have been any pressure applied. But once you tell my child, and we agreed upon an adoption, and you telling me now you're not gonna adopt it, my child, and we're in a marriage. That means that we got married, and that's for life, to death do us part. That's what people go into a marriage for. That's the premise, right? So therefore, why doesn't my child come with that promise? And then now that you're turning around and you're backpedaling, that means that you don't feel solid with us. So now I absolutely not only would I apply pressure, that's reason for divorce.
So my question is, and again, with their story, I really don't care that much. But did he say he was going to adopt Josiah and then didn't, or is she just pressuring him to do it? I'm thinking
that maybe I could be wrong. I thought that it was a given that he was going to adopt the son. I thought that it was already solid and it was like in stone already that he's going to adopt the kid, and then he just kind of reneged. So that's what I thought. But maybe, like you said, I could be wrong. Maybe it was in the talks and now he just decided, nah, I'm not going to adopt him. And it was already just in the talks. I thought it was final that he's adopting the son.
I thought, well, then we have two different perceptions of what's happening. Because I thought she's just telling him, oh, why don't you adopt my kid? I didn't know he agreed and then took it away.
See, Yvette agreed. See, that's what I'm saying. I knew too. That's why I'm like, I started getting a little confused. He said he was going to adopt. It was like already, he said, that's the part I got a problem with. Don't tell me that you're going to adopt him and then you're going to backpedal. Now I got to go into Josiah and tell him, guess what? Daddy's not going to adopt you now. It will be a problem. That's grounds for divorce.
So Yvette said he did say it. So I'll be out. You don't want to adopt my kid? Then this is Jewish right. This shows lack of commitment. Lack of commitment on our marriage, and forget the lack of commitment on our marriage, lack of commitment on my kid. Because again, if once he adopted him, most likely the kid's name would have been changed. And you got to think of where the kid has come from. He's in a house. I think Drew has 3 kids. 2 of them, I'm assuming, is with Ralph. They all have the same last name. He's the only kid that don't. His dad is never around. You're taking all the responsibility as dad. I'm assuming all the other kids are calling him dad. I don't know what Drew kids call him. And you're right. Now that I'm understanding a little bit more, if it was discussed to the son that, oh, you know what? Ralph is going to adopt you. You're going to have a dad now. You don't know what kind of fairy tale story Drew told him. And now this kid is going to feel rejected, not wanted, not loved, not good
Exactly.
enough.
That's what I'm saying. So, like I said in our past episodes, I know how a child feels. Like I said, to me, it seemed like it's always a given when that one child is like, has a different father than the rest of the family. Like, even though it may not be like obvious, I think there are some things that you see where beside the last name being different, I just think some things in the household could be like, there's differences in the way they might treat the child. I know from my god kids, I know like one got a different father, and I know what she confided in me, and she did feel like differently because she had a last name. She did feel like she don't have a father and she's not as worthy as the other kids. So I know, like, I can imagine how Josiah felt.
And this is the man that's gonna write a book. Okay, I won't be buying that book. So due process said Drew is trying to portray this perfect family. They shouldn't try to pressure the guy into adopting her son. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't pressure a man to adopt my kid. You adopting him or not? No, goodbye. Me and my kid are out. That's how
exactly. And especially if you said yes in the beginning and then you change your mind.
And you're not the husband.
And you're writing a book about the son that you're not adopting.
This calls for lawsuits.
And divorce.
They are putting on a show. They play with their marriage, their children, their businesses. Well, I don't know that Drew by Fitness by Drew. That's the only business they got. I don't know businesses, but I agree. I mean, it's a lot they're displaying out here. Kyra said, I thought she meant in a bad way. It can be normal, but then why go to the extra step to adopt? I mean, like you said, he agreed to it now. My whole thing is, why did he said he changed his mind because the dad said he wants to be the kid's life. But the dad is a deadbeat. So you're not even that good of a stepdad to step up to that father and be like, look, either I'm giving you 30 days or whatever amount to step up and be there for him, Josiah. If you can't, I'm going to adopt your child. That's it. He's a deadbeat. So how is his words make you not adopt a kid when he's a deadbeat dad anyway?
Exactly.
You'd rather not adopt him and have him stay with a deadbeat dad. So he's not a good stepdad to me. At the reunion, this is Kyra said, at the reunion, Ralph called the boy Drew's son. That's big for me. He didn't say our son. He said Drew's son.
That's what I'm saying. To me, I feel like it's a given when the child is really not, like, I don't know, like maybe there's differences in the family makeup, but I'm just used to, like, I've never been in that scenario where I've been a part of like a different father, but I know from other scenarios from like people that I know, like, I just feel like it's a given. Like, are there men out there that really treat that child the same as their own flesh and blood?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And they treat them like the same. They don't give priority to that son that's not theirs.
No, there's
the son that is theirs, to say.
It's possible. There's men out there that love your kid as much as they would love their own. Yes, of course. I believe that. I mean, I don't know many.
Have you seen it? Do you know from have you? I don't know. I haven't heard of it. What I'm saying is I have a lot of friends that have like different like fathers within like their kids, and I haven't heard of it. I've always saw the scenario where when it comes down to it, it may not be obvious, but there's little things that they do when it boils down to it. They're going to make that child that's theirs a priority. I think it's a given.
I mean, I don't know any, and I don't know that many people in that situation, because most of the people I know, their dads ain't around. They didn't have a stepdad or anything else or in that situation like that. But I think there are men that would treat both. Well, I knew of one girl, her stepdad to me was like her dad. I didn't even know it was her stepdad. And she had other siblings that her parents had together. That was, so that's one person I know. And she was like, that was her dad. I mean, I never went in depth and talked about she felt differently, but I didn't know that wasn't her biological dad until years after. And there was no way of not telling. So I think it is possible for a man to treat every kid in that house. It's not even about treating one better than the other. It's more so treating all of them equally the same. Like if someone is punished, they're going to punish all of them. If there's certain things, I mean, from my personal experience, when I was married, my ex-husband, I could tell he didn't treat my child that was biologically his similar to his own. He didn't. And as a man, you see that right away. And I'm like, hello. But that's, so little things like that. I, as a parent that's marrying another man and you have a child or that's not, that there's signs there from the beginning that you catch on. So I don't know how old Josiah is, but whatever he was doing from the beginning, Drew should have saw the red flags. There's easy red flags to see quick.
There's a lot of red flags. Drew is not, like I said on our past episodes, Drew's more concerned about that American dream look more so than the real dynamics of the relationship. So she's going to overlook those red flags.
And Kyra said he's been in that boy's life since like 21. Since Raul's been 21? How old is the kid? How old is Drew's kid?
I think Drew's kid got to be like 10.
Oh, she said like 2. Like since the boy's been 2. I don't know how old the kid is now.
He got to be like 10. I think he's like 10, 8, 9, 10.
That is an age where he could bond with the kid. And for that kid to feel like, when you start, have your kid meet someone and they're already older, it's kind of hard to build a friendship and a bond and things like that. They got to get to know. But at the age of 2, Ralph could have really stepped up and really been there for that kid to where that kid felt that is my dad. Which she probably does. Probably does, because that's probably the only male that's around to kind of give him that role model figure. So if anything, Ralph is a jerk. That's making him even a bigger jerk. Not only are you a bad stepdad, you're also a bad husband. So Kyra said if there was a conversation where you said you would adopt a child, then all of a sudden you got talked to the absentee father and says you're no longer doing so. Yeah, that is true. That I don't understand how you're able to have a conversation with the deadbeat dad about not adopting the kid, or he's able to influence you to not adopt the kid when he's a deadbeat dad.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even give him the time of day unless he's paying child support and he's a prominent figure in my child's life. I wouldn't give him the time of day. I wouldn't speak to. If I was you, I wouldn't even speak to him. Like, you're not gonna be a deadbeat and then come out the woodworks when things are moving along and I'm trying to get my kid a dad. I'm trying to have like a strong figure in his life. And now you come, Johnny come lately trying to stop the adoption. He would have absolutely no say, but I know he got to sign off on the papers at the end of the day. So I don't know, but I don't know if I would have a discussion asking his permission or anything. I don't know.
So Yvette says Drew's mother is pissed. Yeah, I mean, any grandmother would be. I would be too. Yvette also said he was going. Yvette is co-signed with you that Ralph was gonna adopt. And Kyra said, I got that it was a goal to adopt, and then he blindsided you with talking to the father and changed the plan not to do it. That's true.
Exactly.
Maybe Drew wasn't even aware of it. He never said Drew and I spoke to the dad. He kept saying I spoke to the father.
It was absolutely just him. It was him on his own. She didn't even know he spoke to the dad.
Oh, so Kyra said they already gave the boy Ralph's last name. So
I think they did. Yeah, they did. They had the episode when he did get his last name.
So then the deadbeat dad was okay with that? Like, can you just change the kid's last name and the deadbeat dad don't? I guess you can. The deadbeat dad don't have to be involved. I guess you can do that. You can do that.
I just gotta look into like Ralph and like, did he really like? How we know that the father did say stop the adoption? I don't want I don't even know if I believe Ralph. Like, we need to see some type of receipts that the father, he really met with the father, and the father was like, no, don't adopt like my child. Like, who knows? This could be an excuse by Ralph. And maybe he took it. The father was probably like, oh, I'm trying to be a father, whatever. And Ralph took it like, oh, he doesn't want the adoption to take place. Like, I don't know what Ralph's like motive is. So I don't trust Ralph at all.
You're right. Good point. So Yvette said, he backpedaled, which is messed up. Now Drew had to explain to his son why he's not getting adopted. That is true. He's going to see that. So now Drew, due process. Hold on, let me scroll down. She's saying Drew's husband said that he spoke to Josiah and he said, what's adopting me going to change? He said nothing. And Josiah said, then why do it? But then again, Ralph lies a lot. That's what you're saying. Ralph lies a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe nothing Ralph says. We need to see the receipts and the camera footage of this meeting.
So Kaya said the nerve to write a book. The nerve! Damn, what the hell is he gonna write in this book? How not to adopt a kid?
And then Drew doesn't even know what the book is about. Man, I would be at divorce court so fast his head would spin. The book would be like halted. There's no way you would be writing a book about my child and I'm not a part of the process. Like, he's just like, we already spoke about that, but that's terrible.
I won't be surprised if he's dogging Drew in that book. I mean, what's the secret?
And Drew will forgive him. Like I said before in our other episode, like, Ralph knows how to operate, like, and I think a lot of men do. They know how to kind of like manipulate and kind of, bend things in their favor where you're never going to get a divorce from them.
So Drew said Drew should have discussed with biological dad first. I agree. She should have had the
No, I'm not discussing nothing with a deadbeat. No. Well, you're going to discuss with a deadbeat dad? Huh?
As far as adopting, I mean, this is the thing I'm a little lost about. He's a deadbeat. There was an episode. He's been on the deadbeat dad's been on the show. Do everybody here remembers that the deadbeat dad was?
I do, but what does that mean? One appearance? Does that mean that he's a proactive dad?
There was an episode where they showed him trying to meet Josiah, trying to better himself, trying to do all this stuff. So there was a scene that they showed him like,
yeah, but what's that mean for the next day and today?
I mean, he just wanted to be on the TV, I guess. But as far as discussing it first with the deadbeat, if I need him to sign off on it, yeah. If the court
I probably would. If I needed him to sign off on it, I probably would. Like, yeah, I would discuss with him, I guess, because like we said, he does need to sign the paperwork.
So Joanne says, very few men accept another man's child. It happens, but it's rare. Another reason most men don't accept another man's child is because the child is a reminder the wife was with another man. Ooh, that's deep. Especially when it don't look like, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know your woman's with another man unless they're a virgin.
Yeah, but you don't got a reminder right there every day, and he looked like the dad too.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. That men feel that way, really? Oh, well, if the person I'm with think that way, you out.
They're not gonna say that. No one's ever gonna admit that. Like, oh, he looks like the dad that you've been effing. No.
That you effed. Not effing. Like, you
okay, well, still do it. Who wants a reminder there that looks exactly like the one that you was effing? I don't know. It could be, psychological, but no one's gonna admit that.
Yeah, due process. Just because someone falls on hard time doesn't make them a deadbeat. He was in jail, probably has to pay restitution. We're going by what Drew said, and she lies too. He's a deadbeat. He's a deadbeat. You're paying restitution, you're in jail, you ain't helping the child, you ain't paying child support, you're not doing nothing, you're deadbeat. Not all that go to jail is deadbeat, but if you come out of jail, you're not doing nothing, and it's not always about money. You could not have the money, but you're there. You could pick up the kid from school. You're calling, you're FaceTiming, you're spending quality time, even if it's at the park because it's free. Buying a little ice cream, that's what $5 not for ice cream. That's not a full debt. That's not a deadbeat. It's not always money. But if you coming out of jail and you paying whatever you got to pay, you're not helping me any sort of way, you are a deadbeat. You a deadbeat.
Hello.
Drew process, he's a deadbeat. So Kyra, the Jew said the father didn't follow up. Okay, and the father was jailed before the son was born. The father went to jail before the son was born. I don't know what he did. Okay, but when he came out, what did he do when he came out?
Yeah, he's been out years now. Like where he at? Like so. Yeah. I don't know if I get it. Like, listen, if you fall on hard times, you in jail, whatever, but you still have time to rehabilitate yourself and get with it and take care of this child. So
exactly. And I don't know if Drew kept up with having the son. And I wouldn't do it. If I had a young kid, I'm not bringing him to jail visiting his dad. Like a 2-3 month old child. No.
People do it. But I wouldn't either.
Security. If he's older, maybe. But at that young age, I'm not traumatizing my child going through security because your father made a bad decision. Or maybe it wasn't a bad decision because he's a black man. We don't know what happened, why he got arrested and went to jail. But again, he sounds like a deadbeat. So moving on from these people, the next thing was Marlo and nephews at the house. She sent them away for structure. She was basically talking to them. They were all together. She was telling them why she sent them away for structure. I agree. You send their asses away. They needed to go away. They needed some structure. Marlo could not structure those kids and discipline them. I'm still not against what Marlo did. I don't disagree at all.
The only thing I'm against it because I feel like what they did was regular stuff. Like she was saying,
no, I can't say. There's these kids. They could have been really disrespectful to Marlo. They wasn't appreciating what she did. They were talking.
That's all kids.
Not all. They were talking crazy. She said Marlo's not.
Kids take stuff for granted. They're not looking at it like, hey, mom's going to work and she's working hard, busting her ass to put food on the table. No one thinks that far when you're a child. Like, it's not like, all kids take things for granted. They don't know the process that goes into putting food on the table. So I just think, like, what does she expect them to do? Like kiss her feet? Like, I think she's just regular stuff. They wasn't washing their asses. Okay, all kids, a lot of boys don't wash their ass. Like, why is that a big deal? Like, why is that
a big deal when it's not your kid? Like, I could tell, you got to think they're not. I think what a lot of people fail to realize, Marlo, these kids, grown kids, these weren't 2-3-year-olds where you can mold them and train them. These grown kids, whatever age they were, thrown into Marlo's lap. She decided to take on the responsibility. That's where I falter. You took on the responsibility. And again, she probably thought it wasn't such a hard task. Then when she got into it, she realized that, what I expected of these kids is not what I'm getting. And Marlo probably was lavishing them with Fendi, Gucci, and everything else. These kids took advantage of it. She probably was talking to them. They didn't pay her no mind. They probably like, whatever. Probably first words. Marlo's dealing with her own turmoil and her own issues. She kicked them out. I don't think she did. I personally don't think Marlo made the wrong decision by kicking them out. Now, the way she kicked them out, if she said get the F out, I don't agree. But her kicking them out to structure to clear head, maybe get counseling or figure some other ways of disciplining them is not wrong. I agree. I agree. And I'm a mother. And it's still, Let's not forget, it's two
But if
boys.
you take on the role, like especially when you've come from that background where you didn't have structure in your life, to give up, like to toss them to the side when you yourself have been through that. Like to me, it's just like it just wasn't grounds. Like she said at the reunion that she went from home to home and she was doing little things like the boys and getting kicked out because the sister, whoever it was, when she went to the house, they didn't get along or they didn't like, she wasn't a part of the family, so they kicked her out. Like it was like little things, and then you do the same thing to them. No, if you take on the responsibility of being a parent, that's what you should do. I'm sorry, it's not like it's an auntie where the mother's there and they coming over for the weekend, and then I say, you know what? Hey, come get these kids. They acting up. The mother is not in the picture. They don't have a stable home.
Yeah, but she kicked them out. She had them stay with her sister. She didn't just kick them out.
Yeah, but I know. But what I'm saying is that she had them stay with the sister. That's not the sister. That's not her kid. The sister that.
Well, this is what I think Marlo's understanding was. She's giving them the lavish lifestyle, right? Her way of punishing them or making them appreciate what she's giving them and sending them over there to the sister that lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, has other kids. When those kids were there, trust me, they appreciated what the hell they had at Marlo's house. I will be very surprised if them kids went back to Marlo's house and was acting the same way. Now they know,
I don't agree with that.
May kick me out. She may put me back in that house with them roaches and all them kids all over the house. I think Marlo's way of putting them out, if she did say get that out, was probably wrong how she did it. But her kicking them out, I don't think anything's wrong with it. I don't think so. And it was two boys, 2 teenagers. I
mean, you would know better than me. I just.
And when they drive me nuts, I send them right to their dads. Yeah, and you come back. I mean, I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. But you are still their biological mom, and like you said, like you're gonna eventually get them back. You're not gonna have them stay, even when they get on your nerves.
Same thing. Marlo took them back. She didn't just give them and say, "Yeah." Marlo said she needed a break for her, and I think I commend her. I honestly commend her because you got to think mental state.
Yeah.
If she was in a place where, oh my God, I'm losing. I'm gonna end up killing one of these boys. I need time for myself. So her sending them away, I commend her because a lot of mothers don't have, or parents don't have the opportunity to do it, and they take the anger out of the kids. They beat the hell out of the kids. They start talking crazy to them, and we know Marlo has a lethal mouth.
Yeah.
So I think she needed to regroup, get herself together, and bring them back, and able to parent these kids in the proper way. So I don't think she did anything wrong. I commend her again.
I'm just saying, we'll see. We gotta, follow this story. Who knows? It might happen again. She might keep kicking their asses out. So I don't know. Marlo's unpredictable.
Well, she keep kicking their asses out. They need to straighten up. That's it. That's
all. Why? Because they don't brush their teeth and they don't take a shower.
Teeth. The thing is, it's not just about brushing their teeth. And
that's what she said.
Well, if you're walking around, your breath stink every day, and I gotta tell you to brush your teeth every day.
And I gotta kick you out. You gonna kick your kid out for that?
I wouldn't kick my kid out for that. But it's a list of stuff. Like when she said the kid had kicked the wall, that shows anger issues. That boy putting a hole in the wall, that's a red flag. If I have a kid in my house breaking a wall, you need therapy. That is a red flag of anger. The next thing, I don't know who you're gonna be kicking. These kids were old enough to understand and have some sort of discipline. And Marlo was probably trying to discipline them. She didn't know how. She doesn't know how. And she just lost it. As parents, we're learning and figuring things out. So again, a mother of 2 boys, there are times I want to say get that out. But of course I can't because I have nowhere to let them stay for 30 days. Mm-hmm. So there are times as a parent, you lose control where you're like me up, you know what, you gotta go to dad's house. I mean, they spend there a week. I mean, I can't send them for 30 days because I eventually I do miss them. But there are times you want that break. You want the break. Yeah. So it's the way she probably kicked them out. But I think the word kick out is what's throwing everybody off instead of saying, I sent them to stay at my aunt's for the days. The kick out word is the big thing. Mm-hmm. I want to tell my kids, I'm kicking out. You're going to spend some quality time with your daddy. It should be like, look, you're going to stay by your auntie and get to know your cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to get the F out. So I think
Yeah.
it's the word kick out, and I told them get the F out. And she's like, oh yeah, they're spending a couple of days with their auntie. They're getting to know her and they're cousins. No one would even think anything of it. In reality, you're kicking them out.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyra said Marla had those boys for 3 years before this season. She didn't get a parent coaching in the therapy since. I can't with her. That's true. She didn't kick them out after having them for a couple of weeks. She had them for a pretty long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she lasted for 3 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Before, saying I can't take it. So I agree. She had them for a pretty long time. I didn't even think how long. Yvette said exactly. Yvette also said it was too much for her, especially with 2 boys. Yeah, 2 boys is a lot. It's a lot. Kyra said kicking them out for a month during the school year to a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 people. That's punishment right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the place she had them looked really nice. So that was her punishment. Like, go stay with your... And it probably gave them a reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is how people really live? I had the lavish lifestyle. So, sending them there. I mean, what I do feel was unfair to that aunt. And it was nice that the aunt agreed to keep them. Because the aunt could be like, I don't have space for 2 boys. So Kyra said even her sister had to tell her about how she talks, about the boys around them. We talked about yesterday. The sister also agreed that Marlo's approach and the way she verbalizes her boys was inappropriate. I agree. I think Marlo's mouth is lethal. And she goes at the boys. Kyra said Marlo is so hyper aware of her trauma and wields it like a weapon and had no problem imprinting more drama on them. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't. Yeah, I agree with that, and that's what I don't like about Marlo. Like that, I didn't agree with that situation because of that. Like I feel like she should have been more aware. Like I don't know, she had trauma. She shouldn't have did it, knowing that that's her background. I get it if you did it, like with your kid, like you send them to their father's house. Me, like I didn't have that trauma, so I can't relate. But when you come from that, you should be more aware of not kicking them out because they didn't brush their teeth and stuff like that. So
I don't think it wasn't just brushing their teeth. She said they were doing a lot of stuff.
The stuff that she was naming though was they didn't brush their teeth, they wasn't washing their asses. They took the computer, went back from her room. When she took it away from them, they took it back. They went to her room. She got to put a lock on the door now because they took the computer. Like it was just simple stuff to me. That's like regular stuff. I wouldn't even do that to my dog, let alone a child.
Simple things, but things that's repetitive and a kid that age should not be doing. Is the repetitiveness of your age, you should be washing your ass. How many times? Your age, you should be brushing your teeth. Your age is the repetitiveness, and it's 2. It's not 1 kid. It's 2 kids. She's probably constantly doing the same thing. So Yvette said Marlo was missing some stuff. I mean, what, the boys were stealing from her? What stuff? Clarify, Yvette. Marlo, Kyra said Marlo already couldn't handle taking care of her sister, so she knew this was above her. I agree with that. And Kyra said
this did take off more than she can handle.
True, yeah, she did. Kyra said this isn't a normal mother-child dynamic, though. For me, extra care needed to be given for boys who have already been through delicate for multiple. Yes, I agree. Marlo couldn't handle, that was too much for her to handle, but I think Marlo has a good heart and she didn't want to see her kids in the system, like foster. So she thought, I can take them on. They're going to be good. They're this, they're that. And then after a while, they hit teenage years and then they turn into the demons. So Yvette said stealing. I didn't think boys are stealing. Where did you hear this, Yvette?
But the stealing that she said was basically she took the iPads away from them and they went into her room and took it back. They stole back. To me, that's not like they went into her wallet and stole money or credit cards or something. It was like she took the iPads away from them. They went into her room and took it back.
Exactly. They don't listen. That's what that shows me. You're not listening to my ass.
Yeah, but it's not like they're going to steal credit cards and going on a shopping spree and stealing the car keys.
That's the beginning of not listening. That is the beginning of not being able to do. No, it's the beginning of you don't listen.
Listen, you know more than I do about raising kids and
that stuff. That is the beginning that you don't respect my words. You're not fearful of me because you feel like I'm going to go in there and take the damn iPad. What's she going to do? Hell, there's 2 of us. We could take her. Boys turn into little demons, I tell you. So
Mm-hmm.
Marlo even said Kyra said Marlo even said they start acting up after the call with their mother. So I find disgusting to kick them out afterwards. True, she should have tried therapy at least. She should have
That's what
tried
I'm saying.
different
To me,
things.
it was too drastic.
She should have tried different things.
For things that were like, you could work on. Like it wasn't like they come in the room at night with a knife and like, a hammer. Like so to me it's like when you're not brushing your teeth, you're punching a wall. Like to me, that's like reason to get a therapist.
The reason I think she could have tried therapy. And again, with kids, you're talking reason to them. And it could have been more so, okay, let's try therapy. Seems like I can't discipline. You don't listen, blah, blah, blah. Get them like Big Brother or male coaching, they have, what is it? There's life coaches, male life coaches, put them in like
Mm-hmm.
the Big Brother program, stuff like that, which Marlo seemed like that's what she was trying to do. Like having
Mm-hmm.
Todd, like the housewives' husbands involved in the children's lives, which they did show Sonya and Ross do that. That was very nice. And I think I would try that. And if I try therapy and other things and you're still acting up, you got to go. You gotta go. So now moving on to the next scene. It was Drew's house party. She decided to have a party for Kenya and Marlo, why? I don't understand that.
Well, I think they did it because they wanted them to, they both are Aquarius. They both birthdays, even though their birthdays are not together. But Kyra, also, you said before, I noticed, you said that Marlo isn't a February Aquarius. She is. Her birthday is actually the same as mine, February 7th. Kenya her birthday's in January. And she did say on the after show that she's like, why would they throw their parties together when her birthday is in January and then Marlo's birthday is February 7th? So it's like their birthdays are actually like more than 2 weeks apart.
That's still good enough.
I mean, to me it is, but like you said, I get their intentions was to kind of like make them like communicate, like make them kind of like be friendly to each other. So I could do that. I would probably do that if I was in the friend group.
I think Drew was trying to be messy. So her and Shereé co-hosted the party. And Shereé didn't want to pay the balance of $1,350 for the party. Shereé's cheap as hell, and I think she doesn't pay her bills. I really think so, because if you're co-hosting the party and she's like, oh, well, I didn't make the decisions and all that, and she didn't want to pay Drew. So
I think Shereé
the party.
I think Shereé did use it as an excuse, but when I did watch the after show, I actually meant to put the receipt on our live. Because I did screenshot the receipt when they put it on the screen. I'm very frugal, so I don't think I'm gonna be paying. Like, it would have to be something that we agreed to beforehand, because some of those prices, I'm not paying $700 for balloons, and I'm not paying for heaters to have in your house when you should have heat in your house. I'm not paying,
heaters.
Yes. It was on the receipt. It was a fee for heaters, $700 for balloons. It was something else. I don't want to like mess up the live because I definitely did screenshot it. And it was just like it would be something like we should. I think, see, with me, I would have like wrote down everything that we're gonna do for this party, and I would have said, listen, Farrah, this is how much it's going to come to. And then you tell me, like, listen, I can't pay half, or I don't want to pay half, or then we should go over it. You don't give me the receipt the day of and tell me I'm supposed to pay for it. And then you got these outrageous, like, prices on there and things on there. No. So I kind of agree with Shereé.
So Kyra said, please, Drew through this hoping first scene. She probably did. She probably was hoping there would be some drama and they would be at her house. She said, yeah, that invoice was crazy. Shereé is still pathetic, though. I agree. Number one,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
If you and I are co-hosting a party and it's at your house, I'm like, Elisa, okay, what are we doing? How much we're spending? All right, I'm going to buy this. How do you not get involved? Because it seemed like Shereé was not even involved in the whole planning and buying of whatever the hell they bought and just showed up. And then when I give you the receipt, you don't want it. I blame both of them. First of all, Drew, you went out of your pocket. And then there's rumors about Shereé not paying bills. We've heard this almost every season about Shereé not paying somebody and owing money. So
exactly.
you set yourself up for this too. Because if I'm playing a party with you, I'm not buying nothing until like, look, can you send me your half? Zell me this amount because I'm about to pay this. I'm about to pay that. I'm about to pay that. I'm not paying nothing. And then you come into the party and tell me, no, we're going 50-50. Oh, I'm in the balloon shop. The balloons are 700. Send me your half. Oh, I'm not paying that 350. All right, bye. No balloons. That's how you close the party.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was a miscommunication issue. Like they didn't communicate it. When it comes to money, let me tell you something. I'm going to have flawless communication, thorough communication. So there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It just seemed like they kind of like willy-nilly didn't really like have things set in stone. And especially with somebody like Shereé, you cannot do that with someone like Shereé. You got to know your friends and know who you're dealing with. Like Shereé, Drew should have knew better.
So if Shereé is paying it was $1,350. So I'm assuming they spent half. This party was like $3,000 at Drew's house.
Yeah,
I don't remember the scene, but did it look like a $3,000 party?
I don't think so, but I could see it being. If you're paying $700 for balloons, the caterers was for.
Not from Party City. Like what balloons they had? That was I don't remember what it looked like, but $3,000.
It was like those silver gold balloons. But listen, balloons there's a balloon place around the corner from me, and those balloons be expensive. They be like $10 for one balloon or more and up. The balloons be expensive.
They are too damn grown to be having a bunch of damn balloons.
He did say that.
I would not. I'm not paying. They are 50 years. They're in their 50s. This is not. I mean, I could see nice wine, great food, maybe some sort of entertainment, something else. But balloons, like that's you too old for that. To me, I would not be having no party for somebody in their 50s and decorate my whole house with balloons. Drew probably wanted to keep it there for another event she was having in the house. Or maybe for her kids, because
that's what Shereé said. See, you on Shereé's side, it seemed like.
Hey, Shereé.
She said that on the after show. She said that the kids probably had a good times afterwards with those balloons.
Yeah, I don't know. So Kyra said, I've thrown better brunches and parties in college for a fraction of the cost. Correct. At that age, the money should go towards the food and the wine and the liquor. Like, it should not go to balloons. Or buy them a nice gift. Did they give them a gift?
That's what Kenya said on the after show too. Kenya said for those balloons, she paid $350 for heaters. So Kenya said that Shereé was basically like, wait, you trying to make us pay your heat bill? So, and then Kenya said it would have been nice to get a $350 gift, or even said, she was like, it doesn't even have to be $700 for the balloons. Like, give me a $350 gift. So obviously they didn't even get her a gift.
Terrible. Drew's terrible. So now this is the thing. Shereé gets a call about her She by Shereé and the clothes are not coming. That they're somewhere where she said they were in China or somewhere else, her clothing line, her clothes for a fashion show. So she gets a call telling her that there's problems with her fashion show and that the clothes may not arrive on time for the fashion show. I personally think that was a whole lie and act to make it suspenseful. I don't think she had any issues with any clothes coming. I think she had everything planned. Everything was going on schedule. She added these extra scenes to get more airtime and make it seem more dramatic about her fashion show, keeping everybody on edge. Like, oh my God, is it going to happen? Is there going to be another fashion show for her fashions? I think that's what it was. Or the fool said, she said that fool said the clothes were in Alaska. Alaska, that's what she said. Oh my God, what the hell? Why is your clothes in Alaska? Most of them get their stuff from China.
But you know how I don't know what, like, Shereé needs to do better with her lies. Like, first of all, I think I do believe that it could have been a holdup with China, because I know firsthand doing business with China, oh my God, they will have you on edge trying to get your shipment. So I do kind of feel her on that aspect, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Alaska part, she should have did. I hate when people lie and they can't even lie good. Like, why are you telling me about Alaska? Like, out of all places, like, no, she did. Her lies were terrible.
I agree. Alaska. So good point, Kyra. I thought she meant China, which would make sense. But I think that was a lie. I don't think she had any clothes that, like, again, all her clothes came from Shein and probably some of them from Amazon. I don't think she had any issues. I don't think she really had issues. I think that was a lie to build up.
I think she did. I think she could have. I think she had any issues. Because in China, when you trying to ship something, it be all kind of delays and stuff. It'd be
Yeah,
so
but she
many
said
delays.
Alaska. It was stuck in Alaska.
No, that part I don't believe. Like she added in, like she did too much with the lie. So that's what I'm saying. I did kind of believe her when she said it was held up somewhere. So, but the Alaska part, yeah, I guess it was a lie at the end of the day. When she brought up the Alaska part, it was like, okay, now you did too much. You're saying too much. You're lying.
Yeah. So this part was funny when Kenya was coming. She closed the door right in Marlo's face. I thought that was pretty funny. I would have done the
I
same
did
thing.
too.
Yeah, I
I
would have done the
would
same
have left
thing.
it open, but I love how Kenya will, like, do a little extra.
Yeah, I would have closed the door in her face too.
Shade.
So Marlo's cousin was there. That was nice that they invited people other than just the cast. So Marlo had her family there. She got up and gave a really nice speech about Marlo, how Marlo's really a good person, and that Marlo and Kenya should really try to mend their friendship, whatever friendship they have. But it was nice to kind of hear somebody that personally knows Marlo say something nice about her.
Yeah, she did. And then it seemed like on the after show, they were saying like, Marlo had jokes saying that, Kenya didn't have no one there. Because if you notice, like, I think Kenya had like one person there that was like a cousin or something. And Marlo had like her BFFs and her longtime friends. And like Kenya had no one.
I did kind of notice that too. Like, oh, Marlo has a whole group of people that I think Kenya just had like one cousin or something.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the cousin standing up and saying nothing nice about Kenya.
Well, on the after show, Kenya basically kind of like threw shade, and she was like, those were like her fans. Like Marlo's people were her fans.
I need to watch the after show. You be getting extra tea.
I do. I like the behind the scenes because I think a lot goes on. Like you get the and I be editing, so I feel like I'm like a Tyler Perry or like a Steven Spielberg or something when it comes to editing. So you can really make things appear to be something that it's not. And I think a lot of times these producers and editors do that. So I like to get the behind the scenes, to speak on it, to really get the extra tea, to really know, was this what it appeared to be after the editing scenes? So I want to know.
Kyra said after shows are where it is at. Oh, I need you to be sending me the links sometimes. I don't remember to go. You send me the links.
Okay.
So Marlo said Kenya. Oh, so Marlo was very transparent. And she said that the Kenya has hurt her feelings. And I'm thinking like, bitch, you hurt Kenya's feelings too. So she was saying how Kenya hurt her feelings. And Kenya showed no remorse. She was looking at her like, and it looked like they were about to start arguing again.
Yeah.
And they kind of like just stopped it. But for Marlo to kind of say Kenya was hurting her feelings, it was kind of like, but you say mean things too. So then Shereé says Shereé opened up to the ladies and said she doesn't have her fashions. She doesn't know they're going to get there on time. So the one thing I have to say is that they were very supportive. I didn't see much shade thrown at her that time. I think everybody did want her show to be successful.
I absolutely believe that they want to see like something like after 14 years, like I'm going to want to see my friend succeed. I want to see, was this like, you had so much time. I'm going to want to see like the whole, like what came out of this. I would be rooting for my friend.
Yeah, and Kyra said, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't reach out to anyone but the cousin for Kenya to help prop up Marlo. Probably. Yeah, that is true. They only reached out to one friend of Kenya, and Marlo had a whole group of people.
Well, we don't know we're speculating. We don't know if they could have reached out to a whole slew of people and maybe only the cousin showed up, or they could have reached out to just the cousin.
Well, we'll see. Maybe a lot of people don't like Kenya. Maybe that's why I didn't show up. So Kenya went on and said that the models were disastrous. They were disasters for Shereé's fashion show. Remember when she was there with the woman that was organizing the show, they had models coming in and Kenya had something to say about each of those models. Like, no, she's good. So Kyra said, I'm just speculating. Yeah. So she said it. She was open and honest and said how those models were a disaster. I think she was really trying to help Shereé. On social media, some people's like, oh, she was being a hater. I don't think Kenya was being a hater. I think she was
absolutely really not. Yeah, I believe she was helping her. I definitely believe that they all are rooting for Shereé. After 14 years, I would want to see, like, I want to see the end game. Like I would be. I think they are rooting for her.
And we'll talk about that. But after 14 years, that's what you had?
You know that's gonna be in the next episode because
Yeah,
we still a little behind.
Yeah, ladies, that episode we need to go live. We need to join because I got a lot to say about She Not by Shereé. Okay, so Shereé and Apollo. That is, I was surprised they had Apollo there. I'm like, what the hell are you doing there? He's not on the show. Why is Apollo there? So all of a sudden, him and Shereé are good friends. When did this happen?
Well, she explained it on the after show because Shereé was dealing with the jailhouse Bday, the felon Bday, Tyrone. So what better person to speak to about the behind the scenes that go on in jail would be freaking Apollo.
I agree with Kyra. It was weird. The scene was weird. Like, where did Apollo come from? How did you get to all of a sudden be his friend to have a scene? I don't know. And I'm like, to me it was like, maybe this is a way of maybe Phaedra coming back next season, a little tease.
No,
why was Apollo?
Shereé said that she gave a couple of reasons. She said one of the reasons was they actually ended up in the same class together because they both were getting certified to be a personal trainer. So they ended up in the same class together. So that's kind of how they reconnected. Then Apollo did reach out to her for something. I forgot what it was. Basically, I don't know if it was for the certification stuff or whatever it was. And then in turn, she kind of reached back out trying to get some intel on dating Tyrone. So they kind of got back into communication because of those things.
Okay, they should ask him to be a model. I think he's a good looking man, so he was able to model on that show. He said that Phaedra left him to die. Okay, I mean, I could see why.
I could see too. Like especially she's an attorney. Like, no, I'm gonna definitely try to really let people prove to people, especially when it comes to my money. Like, I want to prove that I had nothing to do with this. I don't even want to be roped into this, and I would distance myself all away from him.
If I was in Phaedra's situation, I'll leave him to die. We have 2 kids. We're on a huge platform. I'm making money. He could have capitalized on being that show. He was a good-looking man. People seemed to like who he was on the show, excluding what he and Kenya did that one scene when he picked up Kenya, threw her in the pool. But I think he could have used it, even being trainer, modeling. He could open up a new company. Phaedra, she was willing to help him financially to build up his life. So for you to go and do something underhanded and go back, wasn't he in jail before? And this is the second time going back?
She met him, I think, while he was in jail. I think she was representing him or something.
Yeah, so you go back to jail and do something stupid?
Yeah.
I'll probably tell my kids today. I'll probably tell your kids if I die. So it was just, and then messing up her reputation, embarrassing her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would absolutely distance myself.
Yes. So Kyra said, I screamed when he said that. Like, sir, she's an international TV show and attorney. I'm getting as far away as possible. Exactly. I would not deal with you.
Absolutely. Me neither. It would be especially when it comes to my money and having money, you have to put food on the table for your kids. So I don't care that you're the father of the kids. I got to maintain my household, maintain getting food on the table. No, I would distance myself all the way, especially she's a defense attorney. Yeah.
And she had 2 boys. What example is setting? And I don't think there was a need. Maybe he felt like he was on Phaedra's level. Financially, Phaedra's a superstar, but she could have helped. And Phaedra's the kind of person that probably would have eventually thrown certain things in his face. Like, I helped you start your business, whatever. But it doesn't matter. You could have even hooked up with, what's his name at the time, Cynthia's husband, and tried to start a business. There were so many things at this point he could have done on his own to get some notoriety, somewhere where people would have noticed him. I think this was a great platform for him.
But I think knowing from, the men that I've, been with, that they feel like, I'm doing better than them. I do think just the whole outlook of the way that you're set up, it's like it's so much pressure on them. Like, and I'm not making an excuse for them because I do think like it becomes an insecurity, but I do think like I know those type of men like Apollo, like because they like a man's man and they want to feel like that they are providing. And when you're the breadwinner and you're making more and you have more assets than them, that is a really soft spot for them where they feel like they have to do what they got to do ASAP. And if that is going out there stealing and robbing, they do it because it's like they so under pressure when you're like a man's man. You gotta like prove yourself. So I do think that was what Apollo's thing was. It was like, I'm dealing with an attorney. I'm coming from prison. Like I'm still behind the 8 ball. So I gotta do something to get in front of this. And he just did too much.
And at the time, being on the Housewife, he was around successful men. You had Greg, who had a profitable business at the time. Cynthia's husband was there. I don't know if Candy was with Todd, but you were around all these men that was making money. You were beneath everybody else financially. So I could see why he felt the pressure, but at least do it in legal way. When I'd be dumb enough to get caught. But Kyra said he also was in a prison out of state. And she said, I don't like Phaedra, but Apollo was wild and scamming on TV. Yeah, you're scamming and you're on TV. That was out there. How do you feel like they wouldn't catch you behind?
You know, when it's like a ring, it seemed like it was a ring of them. It wasn't just him scamming. It was like, you know, just like with the other Salt Lake City with Jen Shaw. Like when you think you can hide, like especially when it's like a whole ring and an operation you've been doing over time, you start getting comfortable. You kick your feet up, you scamming. You don't think you're gonna get caught. You confident now.
If I'm doing anything illegal, I'm not gonna go on national television. That's it. I'm going to keep my illegal business quiet and private.
You can still keep it quiet and private. When scammers scam, they thinking that no one is watching them. They're not aware. Like even if you go on TV, you still confident thinking like you like the best schemer. You're the best scammer. Like you're not like, you don't think nobody sees you, especially when you have a whole ring operation going on. So I do believe like Apollo is too, like he can be OD confident. So I can see him being like that. Like no one sees me. Like I'm scamming, but no one knows. Like I just see him being like that.
And Phaedra, I don't think Phaedra fully knew what he's doing, but for an attorney, she had to be an idiot not to realize something was off. Unless he was hiding the money from her. Because it seemed like she was.
Yeah, but I know, like I said, I've been in that position where these men will do some type of scheming. You won't know. I've been in that position where I did not know. So I definitely can see that happening. Like where you thinking that they're getting money, like doing something else in another business, but it's really, they're not getting no money from that business. They're getting it from the scamming. So you really won't know.
That's what I'm saying. She probably didn't know. Maybe she was helping him out with a business and whatever, she didn't know. And then Shereé mentioned that he of course Apollo said Phaedra was cold-blooded, but whatever, we don't care what he thinks. And Shereé says that Tyrone's been calling and texting her. Shereé should not even be talking about Tyrone and just move on from that because he's embarrassed her enough. I wouldn't even mention that he's been calling and texting me. I would not even talk about him at all. So Drew Process says Apollo was scamming when Phaedra met him. Where did she think he got money from? Oh, he was scamming when she met him. But yeah, he was in jail. She met him when he went to jail prior to her meeting him. Yeah. So she already knew he was an ex-con.
I mean, but you can't say like, you know, because unfortunately, like, and I'm not giving an excuse to Apollo, like as a minority, especially Black people, we are oppressed. We definitely suffer more consequences than a lot of other races. So I'm just not going to write somebody off because they might have a record or something. Like, I mean, I do think there's a lot of people who have a record that have been rehabilitated. Listen, we all make mistakes in life. Listen, I'm not making a mistake robbing a bank or anything. But what I'm saying is that, so you mean to tell me like if you're 17, 18, or even if you're an adult, you make a mistake, is that person supposed to be cast away for life?
I'm not dating you. I'm not dating a man that's in jail for scamming. Because I'm never going to trust
I wouldn't either, but what I'm saying, But who says, like, you know how they say they innocent? I don't know. I just don't believe. I do believe that people are, people can rehabilitate though.
I would not. And again, Phaedra's an attorney. I would have read his files, did my own investigation before.
Yeah.
I think she fell in love with his looks.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's good looking. He's smooth talker. We'll have beautiful children together. They got married. She wanted to film it. But I would not date a man who's went to jail for scamming. And obviously, he was not rehabilitated. He did it again.
Listen, these men be having like the ultimate game. Like, and you really think like they, overcame these obstacles and stuff. So I don't know what type of game and pipe he was laying down. I don't know.
No, I'm not dating a scammer. Sorry. Kyra, unless I didn't know, of course. She says, really, Shereé had nothing to do on this season. I agree. I don't even feel like she wanted to do the fashion show. More like everyone pressured her into it. I agree. I don't think Shereé had a passion for that fashion show. It's kind of like, let me put something together so I have something for this season storyline, because that's probably what she told the producers. Oh, I'm going to release my fashion show because that's how they ended this season. And she did it just so everybody could shut their mouths. Like, oh, I did it. Now everybody will stop asking me, when is she by Shereé out? Because for us to talk about the next episodes, but all those 14 years we're in for, I had to honestly rewind to see where's the fashions. Like, I could have gotten the same thing from Shereé.
No, but I do. I mean, we're going to talk about that, but I do believe that some of those fashions were decent. But the thing I think she did was, I think she pulled some of those fashions from like a real fashion place, and then what she put online was totally different.
I didn't see anything that made me think, wow. Well, let's not get into it because then we'll talk about it next episode. But
yeah,
I have a lot of opinions about that. Kyra says Shereé doesn't have a passion for anything but working out and wearing labels. I agree. What is
and penis?
Penis? Where you got that from?
To me, that's all she worried about. Like, when it comes to me, that's what she seemed to be worried about when it comes to a man. Like, she dealing with a jail man, a person, a dude in jail. Like, and then she going all out to go to Philly for him. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it is. Look at her ex-husband, the way he looked. I don't know. Some of these women, and just like with Phaedra, the penis matters, I think, with all of these men. Look at the way they look and the way they treat them.
No, but okay. So her first husband, hideous, and Kenya made a commentary about it in the reunion. I was in tears, but we'll talk about that when that comes. Tyrone, she's now claiming he was in good in bed, which I think is a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
I believe it was a lie.
He basically played her, and she's dating that guy Montel, who's a good-looking man. So I don't know if she's chasing penis. I think she's chasing a relationship.
Okay, because I just don't see it. I don't see what was going on with that football player, Tyrone. I don't know what. I'm just thinking it has to be just like with Drew. Like, I don't see it. Like, these men, I'm just thinking like Apollo, like the way they treat these women, they gotta be laying down some pipe. That's the conclusion I'm coming up with.
Well, with Apollo, I could see how Phaedra could get caught up with Apollo. He was a smooth talker. He was a great representation. You dressed him up. It was like, wow, he's a good-looking man. He was very articulate. He wasn't like so-called ghetto or hood rat, whatever. She needed someone to be there as a representative. When she's going to shows with this, well, he's a handsome guy. He fit her profile of what she wanted as a man physically.
Yeah, true.
So I could see, but the other ones that I see Tyrone came, and I was like, this is the guy she was into.
Yeah, like Kyra said, money was going on with Bob and Tyrone, so that was probably the catalyst too.
Tyrone had money. I thought he didn't have any money.
Well, he was a scammer, so those scammers be getting money until they don't get money and get caught.
Bob was ugly. Bob is ugly.
He was in the NFL though. He was bringing in millions of dollars.
I'm not doing it. I can't see myself that mean. I wouldn't do it, but again, depending on where Shereé was in life, she fell for it. she fell for it.
A lot of these women marry into money, and that's all that matters to them. So I think that was probably, like, I agree with Kyra. Like, I do think like that was part of the reason why she got with him. I don't think it was his looks or probably the pipe. It probably was his money. It always be something underlying there.
And thank God her kids don't look like that, because her son is very attractive.
Yeah, definitely.
And
her daughter too.
Her daughters are very beautiful. Thank
Yeah,
God.
he's like cockeyed and stuff. Like, it's like, what is? Yeah, thank God. Like, they
so
got
for
her
her
genes.
to be with that guy, because when she was on the reunion, she mentioned that she's not into looks. I'm assuming if you're not into the man looks, you're into the man's money, because he damn sure ugly.
Well, she could be into personality, but I don't even think they had that. So
he was beating her. He was abusive.
I know. I don't. I'm just saying, because I'm like that too. A lot of times I don't be into looks too. Like, I'm into more personality. Like, you have to be humor. If you got a sense of humor and you have that swag, I will overlook some physical flaws.
But to be ugly and you beating me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the double whammy. You ain't gonna be ugly and beating me. It's over. It's over.
That did not sound right, because we're saying what I'm being cute.
I know. You can beat me. It's okay. As long as you're good looking, you can beat. But no. If you beating me, absolutely not. But I'm just saying, like, he had nothing, no winning, nothing winning. Like, what? Like, but okay.
Exactly. And that was the end of that episode. There was nothing else going on, but it ended with Shereé talking to Apollo. So that was it, ladies. So this was a good live for us.
Yes.
Both of them very successful.
And we have a little small group, but it's gonna grow, because this is only our second live. So I appreciate the engagement. Thank you so much, Kyra, Joanne, Due Process,
Yvette.
and yes, I appreciate it. So definitely come on into our next live, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then the alert button so that you can know when we do go live. Yes. And yes.
So Kyra, last thing, she was a teen mom, probably so happy to meet Bob. I missed the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills one. Oh yeah, we have to do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh yeah, we got to do that. We're definitely gonna do the Beverly Hills. But yeah, she was a teen mom. I guess that's what she took, Bob. She had no choice.
Yeah, and probably when you're a teenager, all that fanfare and a football player calling you on the side, like you get like I wouldn't personally, but a lot of times when you're young, you're dumb, like you do stuff like that. I've been in stupid situations where I'm like, why was I there? And like when I was a teenager, I did stupid things I look back on now.
That's true. So thank you, ladies, for watching. Please join us on the next live. We will be posting it, so stay tuned and click that notification button to check us on our next live.
Yes, thank you. See you soon.
Bye.